Let me say a special good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio, 105.5, 105.9. Those of you viewing on GBN TV, whether it's Channel 7, Channel 11, Channel 20. Good morning to you also. And welcome to this edition of To The Point. It's Wednesday, the 12th day of June within the year 2021. 2024. Am I going back in time for some reason? Anyway, but those of you who are, of course, viewing and listeners via social media platforms, whether it's a Facebook page, YouTube channels, good morning to you. Those of you via GBN's webpage, good morning to you also, and welcome. Let me take a time to say good morning to my guest this morning. With us this morning, we have the Honorable Lennox, Minister of Economic Development, Planning, Tourism, ITC, Creative Economy, Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries, Cooperative, MP for St. Andrew Southwest. Good morning to you, sir, and welcome. Huge portfolio there, sir. Good morning to you.
Yeah, so good morning. So thanks first of all for having me present with you this morning. But I want to begin by making a correction to the range of, or to the list of ministries you have given to me.
Have I extended too much? I have not.
So you have gone a bit too far.
But my bad. I was just reading information before me.
Yeah. So let me indicate to you what it is. It is the Ministry of Economic Development and Planning.
Yes.
Agriculture, Lands, Marine Forestry, Marine Resources, and Cooperatives.
All right. Well, I was just reading those before, I tweak that a wee bit. My apology anyway for that, sir. Once again, welcome to the program this morning once again. And how are you doing, sir? How are you doing? So
I'm very much at ease with myself, put it that way. I am happy to join you and to join your listeners and to join your viewers wherever they are. And this morning, I would like to zero in on two major issues. One is to look at, or to enumerate as quickly as I can, because there is quite a lot happening. What has been happening in my ministry,
yes,
as expressed, and secondly, what I have been doing in my constituency.
Well, let's kick off the conversation this morning in terms of the updates from the various ministries that you are, of course, responsible for. Let's get that information going. How has it been for the almost 2 years going into the government? And some of the ministries, it may not be 2 years you've been looking after it, but give us an update in terms of what's been taking place.
Right. So first of all, let me just explain how I function. In fact, how most of the ministers function. We meet every Monday morning for cabinet. After cabinet, I will meet with my management team, and my management team, I would report on major matters for implementation for my ministry based on the cabinet decisions, get them ready to implement. And secondly, the team would also report on the major activities that have been taking place within the respective departments. Now, of course, the Ministry of Agriculture, for example, has many departments, extension, land use, forestry, livestock, lands and surveys, marine resources, pest management, and so on. So I get report from the heads of these departments, but our report focuses mainly on the capital side of things, what is happening in the respective ministry. I also get report on the recurrent side. So our finance officer and our senior administrative officer would also be part of that meeting, and they will report on the recurrent side in terms of payments and in terms of human resource of the ministry and so on. But we focus a lot on the capital side because the development of the country lies really with the capital projects, and our intention is to have those capital projects outlined in each department, have them implemented as quickly as possible. In fact, I always say to them that I look forward to having a near 100% implementation of the projects. And we discuss any constraints that are affecting the smooth implementation of the projects. We discuss what possible measures we can take to overcome them. And in that discussion, everybody gets an understanding and a sense of what is happening within the ministry itself.
All right.
So that people really don't work in, as I say, in silos. Everybody join hands and join the heads together and join the talent together and work towards fulfillment of the budget.
That proper synchronization of information and so forth.
Right. So that takes place. So everybody listen. So every head of the department presents his report. We all listen. We ask questions, and we move towards implementation. So I just want to reference some of the major activities that are now taking place right now in the ministry. So first, we have the Agricultural Development Adaptation Program, what we call the ADAPT program.
Yes.
That program is now ongoing. It has started, and it is providing hands-on assistance to over 270 farmers throughout Grenada. So it involves labor support, farm labor support, but it also involves planting, and it also involves the cutting of, if I may say, trimming, cutting of overhead branches. It involves drainage, fixing of roads in some cases, in some areas. And so we have coordinators in the 4 major districts of the country, because the agriculture is divided into districts. So we have coordinators for each district. They work with their extension officers, and there are over 60 of them. And they work directly with the farmers and provide that assistance to the farmers. In some cases, it also involves livestock assistance. So if you involved in poultry production and you need some birds, we can provide you with some birds. If you need an extension to your pens, you can get that. Or if it's in pig farming, you will get similar assistance. So that is going. The other major activity we have on is what we call the land regularization program. There are many persons who are occupying strong lands
and so forth.
Lands. We need to regularize.
How's that process going along anyway?
So that is going fine. What we have done is that we have created a unit, a specific unit, and we have employed around 30 young Grenadians as field officers. And they would go around the country to inform the constituents and the whole nation, in fact. Inform them about what the program is all about. So we're gathering the information. Of course, we have some already in our ministry, but we're gathering further information. And the final objective of that program is to be able to give, persons or people who are on government lands, give them title, or say entitlement to the land. So they will have their plan and the deed. Good, and they can now say that they own that piece of land.
But if, just not cutting it, but if for instance someone is using government land for instance, and government may have use for that particular area that individual is occupying, what kind of course reservation will be made for such individuals?
Well, ideally the approach would be to find another suitable replacement for that individual. Okay, of course it would not be a forced something, but it will be a joint effort. You get the agreement that this piece of land is of special importance. Maybe it's for the common good. We would want to provide you with another area, and we will seek your agreement in that regard. I would just want to add though that in regularizing, the issue here for us is not just simply giving you title, but we want to create settlements, decent settlements, and in those decent settlements we also want to be able to provide the settlers, the villagers, those who are in that area, with proper road. Some of these settlements right now, they ram, they cram, they jam. They can in fact create a hazard, as we experienced when that fire took place some time ago in Chantemel. So the intention is not just simply giving you your entitlement to the property, but at the end of the day we can create a decent looking settlement where people can live peacefully they can live in harmony.
And have all the utilities.
And have all the utilities and so on set up,
the electricity, water, etc.
House would not be jamming each other, that kind of thing. So a decent settlement. That's what we want to create. So that is part of the plan as well. So that program would be it would be around for a while, put it that way, because it would take some time to achieve that goal. The other issue, the other major project that we have taking place is what we refer to as the Food Insecurity Reduction Project. It is a $10 million project, which is financed by the World Bank.
Yes.
And the objective is to ensure that when external shocks hit us, as we experienced with the pandemic, as we experienced with the war in Europe, we have enough domestic production for domestic consumption. So the project focuses on increasing food production in Grenada.
Yes.
And we are doing it in a way that it is sustainable. So we are also building shed houses.
Yes.
We have identified a number of farmers, right? We are building these freezer houses so that you can have your product
storage, like storage for
because you know at some time of the year we have huge production, and other time we don't have.
It's minimal,
right? So that's food production. And root crop production, we are focusing on all root crop: yam, dashing, tanya, sweet potato. In fact, we are also experimenting with white potato as well, because in Marebo, for example, we have a big plot where we are presently experimenting with white potato production. So very soon, if it goes well, we will not be importing what we call the Irish potato, because we cannot produce them.
I mean, that certainly will be interesting, because sometimes we experiencing the food shortage in Grenada, even out of critical issues happening, like the pandemic and stuff. There's always a shortage, and I hope the ministry is working with farmers in terms of letting them know the proper processes. Sometimes I think sometimes farmers have the tendency to plant and grow half of like some way or the other. If you get the drift where I'm going with it, where we see like all farmers will produce potatoes or tomatoes at a particular time, and then it's all flu because everybody produces it at the same time. Everybody owns at the same time. Then the market ends up with none of that on, because everybody was producing at the same time. So that's where the education factor for them comes in.
So all that is part of it, but I have to say to you, the solution to many of our problems that we are having lies precisely in production. We have to increase production.
Yes.
If you increase production, you increase supply. If you increase supply, which means that you have more available on the market, price will fall. If price falls, then people will buy more.
That's the point.
Right? Yes. If people buy more, then the farmers earn more. Good?
Yes.
And if people buy more, it also means that they can consume more. Yeah? But it also means that when things are plentiful, people don't grab them. People don't grab things that are plentiful because it's everywhere.
Yes.
So I would ask you this question. Why it is, for example, you would find that water,
yes,
which is a basic necessity of life,
yes,
is so cheap relative to diamond, which is so expensive, but which is not necessary for life. And the answer is because water is found everywhere. Water is plentiful. So to solve our problem, and that, of course, to solve not just problem like predial larceny, not just problem of high prices, problem, to ensure that we have that regular supply that we have to produce.
Yes.
And therefore, the focus is on increasing domestic production to the level that when the external shock hit us, we will have adequate stored supply, at least for 3 months, in the first instance, so that we would not immediately feel that negative impact on the external shock.
And then you did mention the proper storage facilities, because spoilage and so forth can occur.
So we do that in food production. We also do that in animal production, because we are inputting some special kind of ruminants, right? Small ruminants, goat and sheep and pig, and these are being distributed to farmers through the country. Good. And we are very close towards that, because all of the groundwork with the World Bank in terms of the procurement. All of that has been done by the ministry. We are now waiting on the World Bank itself to give the final approval so that the importation can take place and the distribution can take place.
Okay, great.
But I see this as a major project in helping Grenada's food security.
All right, Minister, we'll ask you to just stick up in there for a minute. We come back in this moment. We due for a break. Let's take that break. We come back and we suddenly get more information that you do have to share in terms of for your ministry. And then we do have to talk about the constituency also. And there's still lots more to talk about. We'll be right back, folks. We take a break. We'll be right back.
Good day, ma'am. What would make it easier for you to reduce your plastic waste?
Definitely incentives for bringing back plastic bottles, like discounts and loyalty points. It would motivate me to recycle more.
I think if restaurants let us use our own takeout containers, it's all about convenience, you know?
It would help if manufacturers start using less packaging altogether.
Better infrastructure, more investment in recycling facilities, and innovative solutions to tackle this growing problem of plastic pollution. It's not just about individual action, it's about systemic change.
With our population growing and plastic becoming more prevalent in packaging, we have to equip our waste management agencies to keep pace with change and handle the load.
There you have it, folks, straight from the streets. People are willing to do the responsible thing if we create the conditions for them to do so.
Recycle OECS. Green actions, blue oceans.
This moment is all that I've been dreaming of.
Well, focus. Cricket, lovely cricket, as we bring you ball by ball commentaries of the T20 World Cup. The Cut and Drive Network, in association with this radio station, are pleased to be a part of the excitement. Join me, Andrew Mason, as I lead a team of top-class cricket commentators right through to the finals on June the 29th at the historic Kensington Oval. Cricket, lovely cricket, on this radio station. You got a date, so don't be late.
This moment is all that I've been dreaming of.
Well, focus.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for Grenada to laugh again. Heritage Theatre presents Spice Laugh Comedy Bash 2024, Saturday, June 22nd and Sunday, 23rd June at the Trade Center in Grandance, and on Sunday, 30th June at the Deluxe Cinema in Grenville. Showtime, 7 p.m. every time, featuring some of Grenada's best ambassadors of comedy. Robert White.
I will line up behind the yellow for 9 elections straight. I changed all in time to lose the last election. Why? Because I'm always on the losing side.
Dillion Walters.
McQueen I couldn't take. I don't tell them all he didn't know.
Kareem Alexis and other outstanding comedic performances, all coming to knock you off your seats with laughter. Get your tickets now. Bring out the entire family. Tickets are $60. It's time for Spice Laugh Comedy Bash 2024.
The place go flood with laughter.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's to the point here on Classic Radio and GBN TV. Welcome back, Honorable MP Lennox, Andrew with us this morning. And of course, we started off our conversation this morning, MP. We're speaking about some of the accomplishments, of course, and recent developments within the Ministry of Agriculture, and there's much more that you have to speak of. So let's continue hearing about some of the updates that you'd like to share with the nation this morning.
Good. So thank you. And let me go through them very quickly, because what I want to also point out is that come July of this year, we are going to have a Farmers Appreciation Day. We're going to recognize all the farmers in the country who would have contributed tremendously. That will take place at Papadis. We are planning that now for Papadis in July.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
You know that in April I went to Cuba as part of a delegation for the 45th anniversary of relation between Cuba and Grenada, and there I signed in an agreement on agriculture. In fact, I signed two two agreements in agriculture. One of the agreements has to do with the production of freshwater fish.
Yes.
Tilapia, shrimps, and so on. Yeah. And I'll be meeting with the Cuban ambassador when I'm through here.
Yes.
To discuss how we're going to proceed to implement
implementation of that particular
program,
project.
Yeah. So the intention is to establish a shrimp farm in Grenada.
Yes.
So that we can have our locally produced shrimp, mainly for domestic production, and when we get good for the export market.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So I've already formed a committee in place. Dr. Malachi Martin and Mr. Simeon Collins, together with Mr. Rainey, as our local committee, who will be working with the Cuban team. They will be identifying the possible best sites for the establishment of that freshwater. And we hope to get that done very soon.
All right.
It will be a major
also within 2024 or early 2025?
No, I want to do that in 2025. Ideally, let us say early 2025.
Early 2025.
You can have,
I mean, once you go through all the necessary process there, of course, and get it kicked off.
Yes.
You're right.
Right. We have just completed the training of about 50 local Grenadians in CMOS production.
Yes.
You know, CMOS is a big thing. It's big because it's for health reasons.
Yes.
So we got assistance from FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization, to train about 50 Grenadians. It was a whole long week of training.
Yes.
And they are now far more equipped in how to produce and how to prepare. Having said that, we are also working with them on the export, on finding market, because we have received an interest from one buyer of CMOS.
Yes.
And he wants to buy around 600 pounds of CMOS, wet CMOS, every week from our local producers.
All right. Is that for export purposes or local?
That is for export. That is for export purposes. But there will be sufficient for domestic consumption because I mean, we gentlemen, we need the CMOS. No, we need. we need to see what's and all right, we are next Thursday we are going to distribute. We're going to have an official handover of a number of equipment that the Chinese at Tassajes. They have provided us with a number of equipment, so we're going to have that official handover, and those equipment would be distributed to our farmers throughout Grenada. We are working quickly on establishing a very efficient and a well-coordinated, well-integrated poultry industry in Grenada. Good. We are working on that. We already have some farms existing, but we want an integrated approach to it. So we're going to be working with ADM, Caribbean Agro Industries, to help us with the feed and so on. So we plan to meet with them very soon to finalize arrangement. But they will also assist us as well in the construction of a hatchery in Grenada. So that's one big thing that we're looking at.
Certainly helping in the numerous importation that we do
because Grenadians like chicken. We like chicken. And linked to all of that production, which I should have mentioned earlier, is that we're going to set up a tissue culture laboratory in Maribo with the help of the Chinese. That tissue culture laboratory will help us to have enough plantlets for our production, for our farmers. Most likely, we can also train our farmers as well. So we will have enough plants. Yam, dashing, panya, sweet potato, all of these. As we move towards increasing domestic production, we have to produce these plants. So we're going to establish that tissue culture laboratory in Maribo. In fact, the thinking is that we want to make Maribo the hub, the central hub for agricultural production, for agricultural research, and for agricultural development in Grenada. Now, we have to understand it this way: agriculture is a science.
It is.
It's a science. In fact, perhaps it is the only industry that is a pure science that we have. And therefore we must produce our own scientists. I just come from the phone as I was on my way here. I just come from the phone with the Minister for Agriculture in Guyana. Right, and he, through his Prime Minister and our Prime Minister, they will be giving us about 5 shade houses constructed in Grenada. So a team will be coming from Guyana next week to work with us to set up those shade houses.
And that will be located in the Maribo area also?
That will be in the Maribo area as well. And we also, I personally, and I just come from the phone with him, asking for 7 scholarships every year in agriculture for the next 3 years.
Okay.
Because, Ghana is right now moving in the area of agriculture. They are the example now for other islands in the Caribbean to follow. And he said to me, they've already given St. Vincent scholarship. They're giving Barbados scholarship. And I say, bro, I need some myself.
So Grenada we need some. It all helps with food sustainability also.
For the food sustainability. And he said to me, yes, he will give them to me. I said, I'm going to announce it. He said, please announce it because it's coming.
Well, that is good. And that is good for individuals who are listening to us this morning.
Right.
Wants to know because there are a lot of individuals. Folks would say a lot of youngsters are not interested in agriculture and so forth. It's not that, but sometimes it's the availability of the different resources that would help them get the interest that they want to.
Right. And in that regard, I had a discussion with around 7 young Grenadians who are studying agricultural science at TAMCC.
Yes.
Yeah. And they said to me that they would want to continue the studies in agriculture, and that was the motivation, really and truly, for me asking for those scholarships.
Great.
But apart from that, we also have a project in the ministry called Youth in Agriculture.
Yeah.
We have $1.7 million that we're going to spend. The truth is that there are many young Grenadians who are showing interest in agriculture. Many have approached me and say, Minister, I want to get involved in farming. Many have done so. Good. So we have this Youth in Agriculture program. The office is located in Latagess, in the Chinese station there. Mm-hmm. Young people can go there and be registered. Presently, we are training. We have asked NTA to train about up to 300 young Grenadians in basic agriculture, aspect of agriculture. The first cohort of about 100 is to be trained, I think, sometime next week. Yeah. Good. But more than that, we have identified 103 acres of land that we are going to have an agreement with the owner to make that land available so that we can pass it on, prepare that land and make it available to all young people who want to get involved in agriculture.
Yes.
Right? So we are working on getting our youth directly involved in agriculture. I am also the chairman of the Ministers of Agriculture of the OECS, the Council of Ministers of Agriculture for the OECS. And I was in Montreal last month, where I chaired that meeting, and we took some important decisions. And one important decision that we took is to have a symposium on youth in agriculture, and that will take place in Dominica.
Yes.
In August of this year.
Yes.
And that is being financed by the European Development Fund. It's a grant. Good. And we have to select 3 young Grenadians who will go to Dominica and take part in that symposium. Right. And there they will be exposed, because Dominica is making strides, in this agriculture. They will be exposed to a number of different areas. So, for example, use of technology in agriculture, right? How to prepare agriculture project proposals, how to prepare that, right? They will be exposed to all of that. But those who can attend directly in person, they can do so
virtually, I will assume.
Virtually, so we can get that done. So, so a lot of things is happening. I also want to very quickly, my ministry not only agriculture.
Yes, because I was just going to tell you, we've been spoken for the last 30 minutes or so, we speak in agriculture. And there's other ministries that
there's economic development.
So I would say if you could just branch off just so we can and share some information on the other ministries that you're involved with.
So in economic development, we have what is called this Climate Smart SIEP program.
Yes.
Where we are training young people in how to do climate smart agriculture. A number of persons have been trained over the years and are being trained. Farm roads, for example, we have a number of roads that we have 9 roads to be constructed this year. In fact, we have just completed one, the Granton Road.
Yes, I've spoken to the individuals on that sometime last week when he was opened and so forth.
Good, the Granton Road. We're going to have those roads ready to facilitate our farmers. I want to also mention agro-processing.
Yes.
Because that's an important part of agriculture. Yeah? And you'll be amazed of the quality of the agro-processed products that our agro-processors are involved in Grenada. It's interesting. I had a meeting with them 2 months ago at the stadium. Over 50 of them appeared.
Yeah.
Good. And they asked for government assistance. And my intention is we're going to set up an agro-processing desk in the ministry to provide direct assistance to the agro-processors. Good. But secondly, we are going to take that building that we have in Lakalom,
yes,
a government building that was leased, take it, upgrade it, and equip it so that our agro-processors can now have a
facility where they can where they have the
working with the produce chemist laboratory. Yes. Of course, they can have a proper facility where they can now go and do the agro-processing and the labeling and so on. And we will also train them in their techniques of agro-processing, yes. Train them in labeling and all this kind of thing, the bottling and all of that. We could, but I do believe that our agro-processors are at a stage where the products can in fact be exported. And one of the things that came out of our discussion is whether or not we can use our embassies to have, if I may say, have an economic attaché whose role would be to find markets for our agro-processors products here in Grenada. You know, I think your name is GT?
Yes, GT. I think it's
You know, it would be really nice if you go to Sainsbury or Harrods supermarket in London and you find a product on the shelf,
yes,
and it marked made in Grenada. That would be a pride.
And think about all the other Grenadians who are living out there in the diaspora and so forth. They will. We would love to have half the products that is coming from our own country.
That's right. So we are working on the agro-process in that regard, and we hope that we can help them to expand and to export. Good. We have just completed our population census.
Yes.
Good. And the report is there. The population now is 107,000 Grenadians. Yeah. Right. We want to make the official document available, but it's right.
Just 107,000.
107. So we have a small market.
Just a small market.
We suggest, not suggest, but certainly indicates that for our economy to develop, we cannot just be thinking domestic. Yes. We also have to be thinking export.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And a lot of our thoughts are going into how we can export our goods and services. Good.
We've always been doing that in a limited capacity for years. You understand? There's very few products that we do have that we do export. Very limited. Mm-hmm. You understand? So if we could increase that, that will certainly help in the coffers of the country.
Oh yes. I mean, we have an open economy, and therefore for us to survive, we have to export. And from our exportation, we earn foreign exchange, and those foreign exchange we use to pay for those goods and services that we don't produce. Yeah. So any economy to survive has to export. Yeah.
It's so true.
Has to export. So that's the macroeconomic thinking behind it. We have just received the latest report on the quarterly labor force survey.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of December 2023, and it says that the unemployment rate right now is 11.1%. 11%.
Right.
Which means that it is 11% of the active labor force, The labor force is defined as those persons who are within working age and who are looking for a job. Yeah. Right. So, and what we see is that the labor force, the unemployment rate has been coming down consistently
over the last 2 years.
Yes.
So people are getting jobs. People are working.
Yes. People are getting jobs. People are working, and people are getting good jobs too. If I may add, good quality jobs. If I may add. Yeah. So in essence, I mean, these are some of the major issues that we have taking place right now within our ministries. Under economic development, we would have trained about 50 planning officers, project officers, in the public service and in statutory bodies. Mm-hmm. We have trained them in the project management cycle. And the project management cycle simply means how you go about writing projects for development. Yeah? You write, you submit them to international organizations, you get funding, and you implement them, and you monitor the implementation. And that is important for us because development in our islands take place through our projects. If you want to build a road, it's a project. If you want to build a school, it's a project, right? And in that regard, we must be familiar with the procurement guidelines of the funding agencies who finance those projects. Because, for example, the World Bank, they do finance a lot of our programs, a lot of our development.
But there's a process that you have to go through.
There's a project they have to go through, and you must be familiar with it.
Yes.
Right? The same thing with the Caribbean Development Bank. They finance many of our capital projects, our roads, and so on. But they have the procurement guidance that we have to be familiar with. And part of the training in the project management cycle is understanding the procurement guidelines for these international organizations that provide assistance in the area of projects for your country's development.
Yes.
Yeah. So we received that training earlier in the year, and I think we are now in a better place where we can put together our public sector investment program, monitor it and implement it, good, so that the country's development can in fact take place in an orderly manner, not anything being haphazard. It's happening because we make it happen.
All right. So I mean, I know there's much more about the ministries you want to. I want to ask you one question though before you continue. Your vision for the various ministries, especially agriculture. Your vision for it for Grenada. I mean, as you being the minister currently for those particular ministries, your vision for it.
So let me tell you. I studied economics, and in particular, I studied development economics.
Yes.
Good? And development economics has to do with what can a country do to develop its economy and develop its people. Good? And all development theories point really to one major issue, the development of your human resource. You must develop your people. You must educate, you must train, you must empower, you must expose, good, and give them the tools so that they can contribute to your country's economic development and transformation.
Yes.
Good? Now, of course, you have to identify those sectors which you think can contribute to that economic development. And I'm saying to you that agriculture, in my home opinion, and from my analysis, agriculture is that one sector that if we get it right, and if we do it right, it can lead to the social and economic transformation of our homeland and of our people. Good. And it, in fact, can lead to the eradication, and I'm using the word eradication, it can lead to the eradication of poverty in our islands. And that is one of our major objectives. Can we get our people out of poverty? And out of poverty simply means being able to produce the range of goods and services and making them available to our people so that they can consume and they can have it available, they can use. Good? So that the dependency that our people have, let us say, on government, that must go. Yeah? Our people must have that individual freedom to utilize the time, the talent, and the treasure, and to identify specific projects and programs and policies which, when implemented, can lead to the production of a good or a service that people want to buy, that people would consume, that people would pay for, and therefore they can earn an income on their own and achieve what can be called economic independence, and feel good about themselves. My vision for agriculture is to make that industry, I don't want to call it a sector, I want to call it an industry, and make that industry, given its close linkage with all the other sectors of the economy, linked to tourism, linked to health, good, linked to a healthy nation is agriculture, linked to tourism, foreign exchange earning. That sector, if you get it right, it also links to construction. If you get it right, we can in fact use it to transform Grenada and to raise living standards and give all of us in Grenada a much better living. I said before that agriculture is a science.
Yes.
And that sector can allow us to produce the scientists. The scientists that we need. We must have our own local scientists. Yeah?
I understand your projection, Minister.
We can do the experiments. You know what I mean? And come up with new...
I'm so happy to hear your vision on what you're saying. But you know, when we analyze it these days, the interest of individuals in the country these days, folks are more interested in the technology part of things these days. We see the young people, even adults. Folks don't want to get down into the dirt, as you would say, because most folks, as you said, it's a science, but folks look at agriculture as getting down into the dirt. That's what we've been thought about it for years.
Yeah.
And you know, and now we've seen a different approach to it, how you can do it in producing the technology.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays it's not cutlass and fork and spade, you know. Exactly. Nowadays it's tillers.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Tillers and tractors.
But you think our people are ready for it at that level?
Yes. I mean, the mindset. I was amazed. I mean, it is not widespread, but certainly there are examples that we can use, right? I was amazed to find many young people are ready and available to utilize the science, and who understand the science. I mean, there are gadgets, for example, that you could use to tell what's in the nutrients of a soil. There are gadgets that you can use to tell whether your crop is ready for harvesting, right? The introduction of the science to the agriculture will make it much easier.
Is it the responsibility of government?
It is responsibility. Yes, because government is a facilitator.
Yes.
God is a facilitator. So it's the responsibility of government to get that mindset and to introduce the new technology to our people so that they can see the value in it. Right. So the hard work. Nowadays is shade house and greenhouse, right? Nowadays is agroponics, So the way we should do our corn nowadays is not like how our parents did 40, 50 years ago. So the heavy physical work, which of course is healthy on the one hand, in the hot sun, is not really what it is like today. It is more science being applied, and with that science, you get an increased production, you get better quality products. We can now sell quality products at a much lower price, which can increase demand, increase more consumption, and raise our living standard, and even have for the export market.
Right. And the key thing we've been leaving out is a change in the mindset of individuals.
No, but that is primordial.
Yeah,
that is primordial. We have to say to our people that you have, individually and collectively, have a responsibility, right? The task is ours to build our country. We will get help from elsewhere. Good, we take it. But really and truly, who developed this land of ours are the Grenadians, those of us who are living here. In economics, there is a concept called the GDP. The GDP is a gross domestic product. The gross domestic product is the value of the output that we in Grenada work and produce. Good. So if we in Grenada don't work and produce, then we have no gross domestic product, we have no GDP, then we have nothing to consume. Then it means that we have to depend on the outside world almost exclusively for the things that we consume. And a country can't develop like that. Good. For a country to develop, it must be able to produce a certain number of goods and services on its own, of course with help of others, which it can consume locally, but also have for the export market. Good. Because it's through the export market it earns foreign exchange to pay for those goods and services that it can't produce but it wants to consume. Yeah. So it is domestic production and export. Good. Right. Domestic production and export. And that's how you develop your homeland.
Minister, we spend a whole lot of time on the ministries. Let's get some information as we can to your, of course, constituency. Like I said, it plays a major part in terms of you being a minister. There are listeners around and right down to us and viewers who are part of your constituency. Tell us about some of the updates. Give us an update on some of the accomplishment of your ministry thus far.
Right. So
of the constituency, I would say.
Right. So I have been elected as the representative for St. Andrews Southwest. Good. I think I won by about 450 or so votes. And first of all, I want to thank the people of St. Andrews Southwest for the confidence that they would have exercised in me. In fact, many of them, when I was campaigning, said to me that, I take too long. I should have been.
So that we have different feelings.
Right, yeah. So you have to wait for the right time, as you say.
Exactly.
Right. And I have been supported by some very good people. Mm-hmm. Right. And I need to call a name: Mahmoud and Clark, Osborne Charles, Merrill Williams, Hermelin Lewis. They have been, I say they're always there. Yeah. They're always there. They have been with me throughout, and they have supported me, they have guided me, and they have given me the drive and the enthusiasm and the motivation. And they are honest. They are honest. They are clean. They are divine. They are pure. I have all the full confidence in them as they work with me towards working in our constituency.
And individuals of that nature gives you that extra push.
You give that extra drive, that extra enthusiasm.
What you want to do.
Yes. So we every Thursday I don't go to work in the ministry.
Yeah.
Thursday is my day, what you call the constituency day.
All right.
I spend
it's still work though.
Yeah.
It's still work.
Yes, I spend the morning in the office meeting people. I meet a lot of people. From 9-10, they come, they share their opinion with me, they give me ideas, some of issues that they want me to address. I try and address them as quickly as possible. A lot of them share ideas on what can be done to build the constituency, what can be done to build Grenada. Good? So I meet a lot of people, and then in the afternoon, I would go out in the constituency itself and meet people, visit homes, talk to people, find out if I'm doing good, if I ain't doing good. I get blues. I do get a lot of blues. Some of them say they ain't seeing me.
I guess, but it's understandable. It's understandable.
But I try my best to stay in touch with them. I mean, Walter Rodney wrote a book some years ago called The Groundings with My Brothers. The Grounding with My Brothers, and Walter Rodney is saying in that book that you must never ever move away. Never move away from the people. Always maintain that contact with them. Yeah. So I try to do it as much as possible. If I have to travel, I will say to them where I'm going.
Yes.
Where I'm going, what I'm going for. How long I'm staying. Good. And when I come back, I will give them a report. So sometime I travel. I went to Turks and Caicos Island when I was Minister for Tourism.
Yes.
I met a team from Sandals Foundation. I asked them for money, put it that way, assistance for our steel pan ban in Grenville, which is called
Rainbow City
All Stars.
Yes,
Good.
Yes.
They say yes, they can assist. They gave me the form. I passed it on to the directors of the steel pan. They fill up the form. They set it in to the Sandals Foundation, and they got $32,000 to help them with buying chrome pans so that they can expand.
Great.
So when I go, I always look out for my people.
But sometimes we don't hear about this information, Minister. And I think that's one of the problems that exists within the national background, as we don't.
They cost me too. They tell me that I don't promote myself enough. You do a lot of things for the country, do a lot of things for your constituency.
But you do have to say,
But
it's important
we don't say it. I must go more on Facebook. I must go more on the social media and speak about what I do. As I mentioned before, when I was in Guyana, I spoke to the Minister of Agriculture in Guyana, and he promised to give us some scholarships.
Yes.
I spoke to him this morning. He said, mention it this morning because I'm coming.
I understand.
All right. So I have been able to provide employment opportunities. Good. So 20 persons were assisted in obtaining long-term employment in both the public and private sector. Good. Cumulatively, the number of persons assisted in obtaining long-term employment is 51.
Yes.
And that was since 2022. And they're in administration, they're in clerical, they're in agriculture, they're in domestic, they're in managerial, among others. I was able to set up 4 security companies. Good. And they received contracts, and they were able to provide employment for around 25 people on a daily basis. The Horse Brigade and the Bathroom and so on, I have around 20 persons there employed on a continuous basis. And again, about 105 people gain short-term employment. Good, in various villages. They're constructing concrete roads, sleeper drains, footpaths, culverts, retaining walls, and of course bus sheds is a big thing. I've already constructed a couple of bus sheds as well within the constituency. Yeah. Material assistance for house repairs, 122 constituents benefit. Material assistance for the construction of bathroom and toilet, 45 constituents benefited. The housing brigade assisted 52 constituents in doing repairs to their homes. 9 new homes were constructed. 9 new homes were constructed, and of course the bathroom and the toilet brigades assisted 15 families in the construction of the bathrooms and the toilets. We have a schedule. Yeah. We have a schedule there for that. So we're working on that quickly. Medical assistance. I have a program where I provide medical assistance. Already 4 persons were provided with that kind of medical assistance. Those who have to get repeat, right? Under the public assistance program, 42 new persons were added to the seed.
Okay.
43 new persons were added to the seed. Now, in the area of infrastructure, we have a number of infrastructure development projects. Some are ongoing, others have been completed, and that is through the villages and through the communities in St. Andrews Southwest. Good. We were assisted with the Ministry of Infrastructure and the Ministry of Community Development. I have 2 community development officers who are helping me get things done in the community as well. Good. The way in which it's done, some of it we pay, others, there is a community spirit still alive. So we just give them the materials and they move. So specifically, if I were to go on to some specific constituents, in Munich, for example, concrete roads, 355 feet of concrete road in a place called Old Trafford was constructed. 70 feet footpath in a place called Pepper Hill that was constructed. Concrete road in Monica Ho, that was constructed. Concrete drilling in a place called Bamboo, right? That also was done. And we also did that footpath in Monica Ho. Good. In Subies, where I live and where I'm from, and I think I have to do more work in Subies in my own people. We did some pavement and slipper drains, and we also did some concrete roads in the villa. Now, of course, in Subies, there's a major road that has to get done, and I've been getting some blows for it because people have been saying to me, you pass there every day. There's a big hole in the road in Subies that I have to fix. Of course, those have to be done through the Ministry of Works, and I think we are at the stage now where a contract has been awarded. Yes, okay. And that road should get started pretty soon. So I want the people of Subies and other areas to know that.
I guess the villagers, they are now smiling.
Yes, but they would smile when they see the actual construction start, because it's been a while. It's been a while.
I guess everything has to be done in phases. It has to be done in a way in phases done.
Yes. But that one I think is a little bit, how do you use it? It's a priority.
Yes.
And really I should have
given it more attention.
Given it far more attention. Sometimes there are things when you have to, as they say, take the bull by the horn to get it done.
Well, I guess as they say, you're backbone enough, you can take it.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I observe about the constituents is that their criticisms are objective.
Yes.
They don't.
It's not just being criticized for criticizing.
No, they're objective and they are fair, and they are all geared towards improving the constituents, and I think that's good for me. Good. In Ford, we have constructed 150 foot concrete footpath.
Yeah.
Good. In a place called Fisheries, we also we are constructing a bus shed in Fisheries. In St. James, we have done a number of work in St. James. We have constructed a 100-foot pavement that was done through self-help. Good. We provided material and transportation. We have constructed pavement and box drain as well. Another concrete road with slipper drain, that too was constructed. So we have done a lot of work, a lot of construction have taken place in St. James. I have to add, in St. James, the young men in St. James, they've been after me to give them a turf in the playing field. Good. So I'm working on getting that cricket turf for them in the playing field. I promise them that. I find at times things take slow, and I don't understand why things are take so slow to do basic things, but I'm working on getting them the turf in St. James.
I mean, know that you become a minister, you will see sometimes the reason why the delay in certain things are happening, and sometimes you wonder why for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, government service service is not as efficient as the private sector, I must admit.
I understand.
And the issue of accountability is important in government. The issue of transparency is important in government. So those things involve a lot of processes and procedures. You have to account, and you have to make sure that things are done properly. And that, of course, takes some time.
Miss, I know you want to say all about what you're doing in your constituency. We do for time. We have lots of folks calling in, but I want to ask you one question. Give me, of course, your feeling in terms of government achievements. Of course, in a matter of weeks, a week or so, we'll be having 2 years of the new the National Democratic Congress being in government. Your interpretation of the achievements thus far, how do you feel about it? Or you think more could have been done, or how do you feel about the achievements of the National Democratic Congress getting into power from the time they started getting to where we're at now? Well, that's 2 years.
So I can answer your question by saying, first of all, that the major promises that we made, they were fulfilled. Okay. The major one. So we could talk about them. We could mention them, I should say.
Briefly. Maybe if the list is that long.
Yeah. So the pension payment,
yes,
right, which was, in my humble opinion, a major talking issue, and which was a critical factor in determining the election.
Yes.
That was fulfilled. Okay, but more than that, I mean, we are now ensuring that those who have been working with government for years and don't have a pension, we are working on giving them a pension. Good?
Yes.
So we've made the pension, we have fulfilled the pension payment. People now get a pension, the golden handshake, they've gotten it, and they monthly, they get it. And those who are retiring going forward, they are to get the handshake and the monthly. Good?
Yes.
Good. The doc salaries payment. Good. We made that promise and we fulfill it.
Yes.
The twice payment of salaries per month.
Twice monthly payment or bi-weekly as well.
Bi-weekly, every 2 months you get your pay.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, sorry.
2 months. Someone maybe
somebody will hit me some blows for that one. Sorry. The 2 weeks payment.
It's a genuine mistake.
Yes, genuine mistake. Right. We made that promise.
Yeah.
And of course we fulfill that. Good? Right. Secondary education, right up to TAMCC. No longer tuition fees payment. Good. We have fulfilled that. We have given a number of scholarships, and a lot of our effort is focusing on education, I must admit, because we see education as that instrument that can help transform our people's minds.
Yes.
and help to build our economy and help to build our country. Good. So we have just given scholarships to around, I think it's 10 nurses to go to London to continue their studies. Yeah, we cover it in full. We increasing the number of Grenadians who get scholarships to HGU. In fact, we want to provide now the full amount, because right now every Grenadian gets 90%, right, of the cost of education as a scholarship to go to HGU. The 10%, we are doing the calculation now to see if we can also contribute that 10%.
And just make it 100%.
And make it 100%. Good.
Right.
So, I think these are major achievements.
Major ones.
These are major achievements over the last 2 years. And I think apart from that, I think there is a sense of relaxation, a sense of satisfaction, a sense of great expectation. And I don't want to say hope, because hope is too far down the road.
Yeah.
Good. What I gather is that there is a sense of great expectation in the country, that people are, we are getting things done, and we're trying to get them done as quickly as possible. Good. And if we can do that, then we can be able to transform our economy and transform Grenada within the next 5 to 10 years.
All right, great. Yeah. Let's just grab some questions. I'm seeing some questions from the folks via WhatsApp. Then we entertain a couple of phone calls. We shot for time, but of course, I hope you have just about 10 more minutes that we can just entertain that. Just some calls. I'm seeing a question here from someone that still got my interest, and it goes along with the farming. And there's someone saying the individual saying, "I'm a ginger farmer. I would like to ask perhaps half of the acre, ask for perhaps half an acre of land for ginger production, because anything under half an acre, of course, don't qualify. However, after my preparation, I cannot get the planting materials as promised. So what am I do to form? Of course, we're going to get it from the minister. He's asking.
Right. So that here is where the pisciculture laboratory comes in, because what the pisciculture laboratory will do is to allow us to produce the plantlets that we need for our farmers. So it could be ginger, it could be tomatoes, it could be potatoes, it could be yam, it could be dashing. Right? All of the underground products, the pisciculture will help us to produce and supply them. So that's where it could come from.
All right.
And I'm saying to you that our effort right now is to have that pisciculture lab up and running before the end of the year. There is a young Grenadian lady who lives in Jamaica.
Yes.
And she's good in that. She's from Munich. Good. She's prepared to come back to Grenada to help us to operate and set up that pisciculture lab.
Okay, great. Right. One more question from someone via the WhatsApp. Once again, the individual is asking, Minister, can you help me understand how farmers are able to get assistance? For say, asking, that every assistance available every single year of form and from every source. They're asking this question. Once again, let me repeat it. Can you ask the minister to help us understand from some farmers are able to get every single assistance available? He's asking why farmers are able to get all assistance that's available every single year from every source, while some are not getting that assistance.
Right. Okay, because some people know, as I say, some people know the ropes, others don't know the ropes. So And I think the committee is correct. They are the same set of people who seem to every year
able to get.
They are the beneficiaries, and others are not. I think the issue is knowing where to go to make the request. So we have extension officers, and then we also have extension offices. So there is one in Grenville, there is one in St. George's, there is one on the eastern and in Sotels, and there is one on the western side. Okay.
Do you think more field work is needed more to help that?
Well, of course, more field work, more information sharing. I think we need to speak more about these things. Yeah. Let them know where they are, where they could go to find them. Good. And they can go to those places and make the request, because all of our programs are done through the extension offices. All of our programs. Yeah. Good. We also have the SIEP. The SIEP provides a lot of assistance to farmers. We have an office in Tong, but we also have an office in Sotels, in Main Street Sotels. You can go there, there are staff there. Go there and speak to the officers there, and they will provide you. They will let you know what programs that we have in place right now, and put your name down so you can get that assistance. Good. So I think from here, maybe I would have to do some more, if I may say, some more work on the ground in terms of informing our people where they can go to get the kind of help that we provide.
I think that is certainly needed. Let's entertain our caller two before we go. Again, we lost that caller there. Let's take this caller via WhatsApp. Caller via WhatsApp, good morning, and I beg of you to be brief, please. Go right ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Minister.
Good morning.
Mr. Minister, you've been good account of yourself. I'm very proud of you. And then another thing I want to bring, you've been speaking about agriculture. I think what we need to do is to bring back the Marybo Agriculture School, and also let's have one in St. Patrick, maybe one in Guave. You know, something to bring back agriculture. Because I remember when I go into school, you know, like we used to do agriculture in school. You know, where the children plant their own stuff and sell it in the different villages and then. So if we could bring back some things of what the revolution is to encourage in agriculture, I think then we'll be able to go further in agriculture. And Mr. Minister, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
so
caller.
I just want to add, yes, the Marybo Agriculture School is there. I visited myself. I think there are only two. There are only 2 students there right now. So that's one thing I have in mind, to expand and to get more persons there. And then also the 4-H. We have the 4-H in schools. Just last week, I think we had a week before, we had a big ceremony, an award ceremony for all of the 4-Hers in Grenada. So we're going to expand and improve on what we're doing with our 4-Hers, so we can get more persons involved in the agriculture sector.
All right. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, I beg of you to be brief, please. Caller, good morning.
Good. Mr. Minister, good morning. You said earlier, you mentioned food insecurity. Couldn't we use the term that Mr. Steve Maxime uses? Food nutrition security. Because you could have food that is not good. As Dr. Marsha Marihan from Guelph University recently said, Caribbean government look for cheap food for their people, but it's not good food. So if we could ensure that nutrition security, that would be good. And then Dr. Marcel, what's his name? Guido Marcel have enunciated ideas of ensuring Grenada's food security over some time now, which include having bird food at the center of that and also ground provision. Do you consult with him? I think he's somebody that you should work closely. And finally, in terms of the health of food, I mean, a lot of the farmers, they lace the crops with chemicals. What are we doing to ensure that food that people eat, even as we encourage greater food production here, that the food that people are able to consume are good food? Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much.
So thank you for the qualification, which I accept, nutritious food. And I think that's the intention. Mm-hmm. And that's why the reason why we want to plant it and grow it ourselves, because you know what you're planting and you know what you're growing. So I thanks for the qualification. Dr. Guido Marcel, yes, he is a well-trained and well-respected academic. He has done a lot of research. Most of his work are in fact in the ministry, and he did a lot of work for FAO and other major institutions, and he has been in fact in touch with us, as far as I understand. I have to make some time to meet with him at some point in time, but I haven't met him personally as yet. Okay. But I'm aware of his work. In my early years in the public service, I had a more serious engagement with him, so I will find some time to talk to him so he can provide further guidance to us.
All right. Let's entertain another caller. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Minister. Good morning. Very interesting topic, and I really love hearing from you. But I'm asking, what is the situation in Petit Martinique? Because I know, is it agroponics where they plant in water? And it was introduced in Petit Martinique, for example. Why I'm asking that? Because I'm listening to your very interesting programs that you're going to introduce, but sometimes, unfortunately, they just stay as programs. They do not find a home in our culture. For example, I'm sure you grew up where your parents would send you at the back of the house to pick 2 okras or to pick 2 seasoning pepper, but you still find young children. There are a lot of primary school children, for example, who never heard a cow made the noise, who never heard a donkey bray. So I want to know if you have plans of introducing it at that level. Let children grow up in, let agriculture take up bed in their home, in their heads. Grow up with that, Thank you.
Yes, so thanks very much. I mean, part of the plan is to have what can be called as demonstration sites for everything that we are doing. So you can go there and you can see how you do a climate smart agriculture, how you construct your bed. All right, so that's part of the plan. I am not too familiar, I must say, with the aquaponics in Martinique. So I will have to find some time to understand what's happening there. So thanks for that. Caller.
All right. Well, you probably could entertain our final caller this morning, and then we get some closing remarks from you. Yeah. Caller, welcome. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, man. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Go right ahead, please.
Good morning.
I beg of you to be brief. Can we be a bit strapped for time?
No problem. No problem. Well, hydroponics been around in Grenada here for almost 20 years. I know Butcher and John, BG, been growing vegetables on hydroponics for almost 20 odd years now. But the technology been there. It's just the Ministry of Agriculture was not there. Secondly, you spoke about growing fish in ponds. And I've been thinking about it for the longest while. Let's imagine a pound of fish in Grenada is $10 and it's climbing. Most Grenadians can't buy a pound of fish. But growing fish in ponds, a good business. Let's imagine you have 5,000 pounds of fish in a pond. And that's $5. That's 25 grand in of 2 months. So if all Grenadian people can get involved in fish farming. And I have 3 customers already. I have some guys from Africa. And remember, we are multicultural people right now. We are different people living in Grenada, and they like different choices. So there's a market for the fish in this country. So I hope our government can push that idea into people's minds, because it's a good business for people to have fish growing in the backyard. You have lands close to the river where you can create a pond and grow your fish right there. So it's a lucrative business for people. So I like that idea, Minister. Hope we can push that, push it really hard. Have a nice day, brother.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. Thanks for the encouragement. I will be pushing it very hard. As I said before, I'm meeting with the Cubans and my local team to plan and to organize that freshwater fish production in Grenada.
All right, Minister, we are getting set to wrap up this morning. I want to thank you so much for being on the program this morning. Someone is asking the representative to speak about Polling Division 11 within your constituency. What does that mean? I'm not sure.
Polling Division 11?
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening there.
I'm not sure. Anyway, let's get some closing contributions from you this morning. We spoke a whole lot about agriculture, that one of the ministries that you're attached to, and all the others that we spoke. You spoke about your constituency also. Any closing remarks before we take a wrap this morning?
Right. So, well, first of all, again, let me thank you for this opportunity to be here to indicate to the nation what we are doing in the ministry and what we are doing in our constituency. I want to end by making a call to our people and to say that for Grenada to develop, we have to educate ourselves, we have to prepare ourselves, we have to empower ourselves, we have to work. Yeah, we have to work. We have to have a positive attitude towards work. We have to like work. We have to understand that if we don't work as a nation, as a people, if we don't work and produce, then we have nothing to be proud of. As a nation, if we want to be proud, we have to have industry. Our pride lies in our industry. So there's a nice quotation, there's a nice saying by I think from Barbados, industry and pride. Industry and pride. So what makes us pride, what makes us proud as a nation, as a people, is our industry. And therefore we have to create industries, produce goods and services that people want to buy. You see, it's not by chance that we like Kirani by himself is an industry.
Yes.
Yeah, he's an industry, and we are proud of him because we produce him. So we have to produce not just more of Kirani, we have to produce more goods, produce more services that people around the world will feel proud of. Let me just close by giving this example. A friend of mine told me he went to Japan in a bar, and the song that was being played was the IMF by WZ. He felt proud.
Yes.
He felt proud. A friend of mine told me he went to Johns Hopkins Hospital somewhere in the United States, I think it was Detroit, to perform an operation. And the guy who attended to him, and he's from Paradise, the guy who attended to him was a doctor from Bylands.
Yeah.
He said, when the guy told me from Bylands, he said he got well one time. He got well. He was so proud he got well. And I think as a nation, as a people, this is what we have to do. We have to produce quality goods and services, produce quality human resource. Yeah? That is our pride. And that's what we have to work towards achieving.
In terms of just basic way of saying lifting our standards.
Lifting our standards.
Yes. Pia, I want to thank you all a lot for being on the program this morning. A pleasure to have you. Once again, I hope we could do it again on a regular basis. I know you have a busy schedule, but you have so much that we missed out a whole lot more that you need to mention this morning.
Yes.
And so they do understand for time constraints reasons. Thank you once again, and best wishes goes out to you.
Yeah, thanks very much indeed.
All right. Folks, that's where we take a wrap for this edition of To The Point. Join again for another edition. Now we say goodbye.